enslaved world, and the Democrats.
Get everything you can!
Move faster, they're almost here!
Grab that water!
When I'm getting nothing out of it because I'll never own a home, let alone I can barely own a car. That's part of the Gen Z mindset. It's like, this is why I say, like, dude, get out of these big cities. They're dangerous. Last video, I briefly mentioned human stampede. You never know if, like, news drops where there's a ripple effect, if you know what I'm saying. People are going to freak out. And I don't know if you've noticed lately, but there just seems to be something off in your average person. But yet there's this hesitancy. And the hesitancy, I think, or what it is, this doom, this feeling of gloom or doom, I'm not sure which it is, that people get caught in, and you can see it in their eyes. They do that World War I thing, the 1,000-mile stare, whatever it was called, shell shock. There's no response. There's nothing but silence. And I think in that silence, there's horror. There's a very deep and profound sense of horror. I think most people are now past the stage of rage.
Oh, bother. Now look at this mess. Why does this always happen to me?
But I went through a deep, profound stage of rage myself, where I would find myself yelling and screaming and throwing things because I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to pay this bill. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I'm at the point now where I've washed my hands of it, where I've kind of just like looked out into the world and I've said, you know what? If I were to end up living in a shed, God knows I probably will end up living in a shed or something. I'll try to make it a fancy shed, a luxury shed if such a thing exists. But I have just kind of given up in the sense that I'm no longer holding on to it. I've accepted it. And so that wave of rage that I think some people are still going through, a deep, profound stage of rage. And a lot of them are living in big, big cities. The deeper you get into these big, big cities, you will see rage popping off left and right from people where they freak out in the grocery store, they freak out at Walmart, or they freak out at Target, or I don't know, Publix, or wherever, whenever we'll be together, quote Shakira, right? No, but forget that. Sorry, every time I say something I think of a song because I play guitar. But there was this stage of rage that went on from 2022 to 2025 when everybody started going broke. Everybody's pretty much broke now, and they're like, what's the next step? And that's what I'll say to people. I will say, like, what's your next step? What are you going to do? You're going to go back into the big city? You can go to the small town? You're going to live in your car? Because we all know, like, the day's coming when you either got to move out and you got to pay more rent, or your mortgage is going up because of your property tax. But these dates are coming. And so people are now at the point where they got to make a decision, because if gas shoots up $2 more, $3 more for people, okay, if it does that, then some of those people are looking at anywhere from $50 to $300 more a month, and they're already at the breaking point. The breaking point was zero. But the real breaking point was probably like, okay, now I'm down 100, 200 negative, and it only takes, 6 months of going negative 300 to be almost $2,000 plus with interest or whatever, and then you start dipping in other credit cards and the other credit cards, and you start selling things, and it's like, dude, what are you going to do? My cat wants to be in the video, apparently. Here she is. All right, now you're out. But what are you going to do? And it's like, I've asked myself this question. Society is failing. Is because we have put profit before people too long. And this guy was saying in this other video, when he said, what really gets me, man, and he was pissed. He goes, you know what really, really pisses me off? Is it's not that I have to do the job or I have to do this because I'd have to do something. But he's like, when I'm done with my job, then I have to sign into the email, or I have to pay this bill, or I have to do this, or I have to set this up and pay this fee and set up this. And I understand his frustration. I understand his rage, his anger, Because to what this man, what that feels like is that he goes, this is what he says that was important. He says, now it feels like every last minute of my day, I feel like every minute of every day that I am on the clock. And that is very deep and profound. Because essentially what the man is saying is that he just wants a break. He's willing to do the 40 or whatever hours. He's willing to do this. But he wants a break where he can take a deep breath. But he can't. The world is on fire right now. The world is on fire. And it's a scary situation when the world is burning before our eyes. When flames have engulfed the planet. It's still eating away at people's psyches. My ancestors, as I pointed out, my ancestors at another video, mainly they were English ancestors, I'm sure that they didn't live in this system. Somebody said to me one day, man, so they must have walked from someplace in Michigan or Detroit after they left New York and then went to like Virginia or Kentucky, then they went to Michigan for a while, okay? And they were like, this isn't going down in Michigan in the 1890s, turn of the other last century, the 1900s. And I was thinking, yeah, well, they didn't have cars. No, dude, they took a train. Duh. It's like 1900. Well, they would have taken a train from Michigan down to Oklahoma, near Tulsa, Oklahoma. Of course, they didn't walk from Michigan to Oklahoma. They took a train like classy people, and they dressed up in suits and took pictures before they even got on their little train. Or